Hey there, everyone. Welcome to today's daily check-in. It is July 2nd, Sunday morning, and today I'd like to take the opportunity to share with you all a little bit of my process in forming a workshop for this Thursday for the Colorado Basin community leaders, where initially we were intending to explore a discovery process for Story of Place for all of us to do in our bioregions that could begin to inform also the Colorado Basin as a whole. So we're looking at nested stories. We're looking at stories that help us to see and bring coherence to the actual Earth systems of the Colorado Basin and beyond. Uh, Great practice in learning how to actually regenerate the planet. All of this is part of a wider effort to create the space for a Colorado Basin scale narrative and identity to form that honors all of the stories and identities of the bioregions themselves, again, in a nested pattern, um, so that we can continue to develop coherence. We can have the opportunity to get to know each other. We can learn to collaborate. We can fundraise together. There's a lot to this. This is a really important space. But what became apparent in sharing my initial uh, proposed agenda for this week's workshop is I proposed something with quite a lot of structure to it, quite a lot of activity, a whiteboarding exercise where we're coming up with ideas for how to surface stories, archive stories, tell the stories. Um, and I've also been having conversations one-on-ones with people in the Colorado Basin and beyond. My overall strategy has been to sort of put forward some idea and just hear people's responses and try to synthesize those responses the best that I possibly can in order to redirect my way forward. As this in this sort of iterative and improvisational way, mixed with structure, mixed with making sure art is brought in and all that. So yesterday I had a conversation with Chris Casillas in the morning, who has experience with Story of Place framework, a particular one, the Regenesis Institute, and he brought in the importance of essence of place, which is one of the foundational principles of that particular framework, which is where we are first off really doing the work necessary to understand what makes a place unique, what makes a place special, what makes it distinct, what gifts does it have to bring to larger scales, what roles does it play in a bigger story. And we talked about the idea of thinking about that at the Colorado Basin scale, um, by introducing that by bringing in the story of the geology, which is actually really fascinating in the Colorado River Basin and highly visible as well. So I think we could do that in a really interesting way. Then I had a conversation yesterday afternoon with Brian and Susan from the Tikaranto bioregion, who are learning in parallel, who are exploring these same things and convening people uh, in their place. And we talked about a lot of things, honestly, but they are just amazing storytellers. And they took a look at the draft agenda and felt that there were some things that it was skipping over. It was skipping over opportunities to really deepen our connections as community leaders across the basin, um, to really invite the magic, the, dare I say, sacred into the space, and to recognize that that is such an important thing to do, especially early on, for building trust, for ensuring that we maintain integrity. And both of these conversations shared a lot of similar parallels. There were patterns here that I'm sensing into going deep, really thinking of these first meetings as setting a taproot. And so now I look forward to this Thursday, confused a little bit, having to redo a lot of this agenda. But I feel that we can now do it with the right step forward. And once we do engage in action, once we do really begin to explore our bioregional learning strategy, I think we'll do so in a way that is much more rooted, that honors place much more, and that can recognize when we're getting lost in abstractions and when we're just doing things just to do things, which is so important as we try to discover how to be differently, as we learn how to cultivate with intention the cultures that can actually steward the planet and our places. So sorry for the little bit longer daily check-in, but lots happening. I'm having a bit of a crazy day I wanted to share with you all, and looking forward to this Thursday and informing the rest of the design school with how it goes. And so I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, or if you're seeing this later, whatever day you're on, enjoy.